What's up, everyone? It's X here, back on the X Sports channel, and today we are starting our 2021 college football predictions with the Alabama Crimson Tide. This was a team that went 13-0 last year. They won the national championship. They beat Ohio State, as you can see here, and they also had the Heisman winner, Devontae Smith. One of the runner-ups was Mac Jones, their quarterback. They just had a phenomenal season. And here we are looking at 2021. A lot of that production is gone. So we're just going to have to see if they can bounce back or if this is a team that is going to have a major drop-off. Now, it is Alabama, so I'm not expecting anything huge, but I think there's a possibility that they could go 10-2 or something, but probably not. It's still probably going to be an 11-1, 12-0 type season, at least for the regular season. I'd also like to say right before this video starts that I am not planning on making any more NCAA Dynasty videos. Normally gaming videos across both of my channels don't do that well, so I'm starting to transition into more sports content, so I'm just going to stop those, and it didn't really turn out how I wanted it to, so we're just going to be moving on from that, pretend like it never happened. So this is the schedule for this Alabama team this upcoming season. They kick things off with Miami, which is not going to be an easy game. They've got Derek King and tons of other offensive weapons. This is a team that definitely could give an Alabama a run for their money. But at the end of the day, do we think, it's in Atlanta, so it is on a neutral site. But do we really think that Miami and that coaching staff will be able to go up against Nick Saban and get a win? Yes, I know Bryce Young, he's new, and they don't have as much production returning. Devontae Smith is gone, Najee Harris is gone, Jalen Waddle is gone, Mac Jones is gone. That's a lot of production, and they just have Bryce Young coming back, who looks great, but this is his first game. And we don't really know how good this Alabama team is going to be compared to last year. Do we think that this game is going to be close or not? Either way, I'm going to err on the side of caution and just be like, it's Alabama, there's Nick Saban. It could be close, but at the end of the day, I just trust Alabama a lot more. I don't think Manny Diaz is going to be able to come in here and get a win. Miami's a good team, but I don't think they're on Alabama's level quite yet. And then I do think they beat Mercer before playing Florida, so they're 2-0, possibly ranked number 1 in the nation, but going to the Swamp, that's one of the hardest places to play in all of college football. And originally when I saw this schedule, I thought that was going to be the game they'd lose, if they're going to lose a game, because Bryce Young, he is brand new, he hasn't really had that much experience, he only had 1 throwing touchdown last season, so the Miami game, it's a neutral site. There should be enough there for him to feel comfortable, but this is the Swamp. This isn't an easy place to play. For a while, I did want to predict Florida to win this game, and there's also going to be so much more build-up, and Florida barely lost in the SEC championship last year. But you have to remember, Florida also lost a lot of production, and again, do we think Dan Mullen or Nick Saban is going to be able to get this win? And after a little bit of an easier game against Miami and then a warm-up game against Mercer, I do think Bryce Young will be into it enough. These wide receivers will be ready. The defense should be really solid with a lot of starters returning. I think the offense should be figured out enough by now that they will be able to get this win up against Florida, and they'll be able to beat Southern Miss, so they'll move to 4-0, but then you play Ole Miss right before Texas A&M. It could be a trap game, but I'm going to say Alabama wins. I do think Ole Miss is going to be a really good team this upcoming season. However, the Rebels, they're not quite there yet. Matt Corral is really good. They really gave Alabama a run for their money last year, and that game ended up being 63-48, I believe. And I remember for a while it looked like Ole Miss could just be one play away from possibly taking the lead. But just like last year, I don't think there's going to be that much defense. Ole Miss has an incredible offense. Like I said, I think after another warm-up game against Southern Mississippi, Alabama will be ready. Their offense will be in check themselves. And it is in Tuscaloosa, and I think that is enough. Ole Miss should be good enough to where they can't be overlooked before playing Texas A&M. So I think that is enough for Alabama to win and improve to 5-0. Now this is the big one, up against Texas A&M on the road at College Station. This is the game that a lot of people are saying if Alabama's going to lose, this would be it. And I really went back and forth on this one. Texas A&M has a lot coming back. They could be really good, but they did lose Kellen Mond. And are they going to be able to fill that quarterback position with Haynes King? They lost 52-24 last season, which that was earlier in the year, so I don't think that's a great representation. But still, if we look back to last year, they didn't play that well. It's in College Station. Haynes King, I think, will be good enough. I do think he can play against Bryce Young. And I do think that the rest of the team is going to be good enough for Alabama to lose this game and for the Aggies to pull off a major upset, possibly knocking off the number one team in the nation. When I go through this schedule, I just feel like there definitely is going to be a game that Alabama loses. I think this is a pretty tough schedule. I mean, you have Miami in the non-conference. You've got to play LSU, like always, Auburn as always, Texas A&M as always. And those teams are getting better, same with Ole Miss. And Florida should be really good as well, and that's on the road. I just think it's going to catch up to you, and with this team being a little worse than last season, I do think that there is going to be at least one game that Alabama loses. But really, I kind of think that 11-1 is the worst it's going to get. So we're going to go through the rest of these games. We've got Mississippi State up next, and then Tennessee. Mississippi State is getting better. The FPI had them ranked number 8. They're going to go like 9-3 according to them. I don't really see that happening. I think this is about a 6-6 team. They did beat Tulsa last season in the bowl game, so they did have one big win, and that kind of showed that they're turning in the right direction. It's on the road. I think Alabama will be a little down after that A&M game. Maybe for the first half it's kind of close, but I think they get it together. Nick Saban gets those guys ready, and they're able to beat Mississippi State. And then Tennessee was possibly, like a lot of people are saying, they're going to be good last year. They were ranked pretty high, I think, in the top 15 when they played Georgia, and then it all just fell off. There's, of course, all those off-the-field issues that were going on, and I just don't think, especially being in Tuscaloosa, there's really any chance that Tennessee can go in there and be able to beat Alabama. Next up, you have LSU, who is also going to be getting better, kind of like Ole Miss. They won the national championship 2 years ago, but they really fell off last year. I think that win against Florida was very telling, however, that they are getting better. But it's, once again, at Alabama, and I just don't think, I think the Tigers will be better, but I don't think they're going to be a true college football playoff contender, maybe a dark horse. I think they're that team that you keep thinking, all right, they're about to get that one big win. They do have a shot to make it to the college football playoff, but I don't think it's ever going to come. I mean, it could, and I haven't really looked that deep into their schedule yet, but I just think this being at Bryant-Denny Stadium, I don't think that the Tide are going to lose this one. Then you get a pretty easy win over New Mexico State before playing Arkansas, who is also going to be getting better. But once again, they're on the road. Like, these games, they would be difficult to most teams, but I just don't think that Arkansas or LSU are quite there yet. LSU, that game could be like a 2-touchdown game. Arkansas, I think it's going to be pretty much a blowout just because by now, Alabama's going to be rolling. They're going to feel that college football playoff energy because they're not out of it yet with just one loss. They're going to know that if they lose another game, they may not be able to go to the SEC championship. So that's also a big win. And I think that same energy will be enough for them to win against their rival. I know how it's kind of been back and forth, that series the past couple of years. In 2017, it was at Auburn won. 2018, it was at Alabama won. 2019, of course, it was at Jordan-Hare, Auburn won. And then this past year, it was in Tuscaloosa and Alabama won. But I just don't think that Auburn, we don't really know how they're going to be. Yes, it's the Iron Bowl, but like I said, Alabama's going to have enough energy where they could take care of business. Very close game, I think, but they do finish the season 11-1. I think the SEC is going to be a pretty competitive conference this year compared to previous seasons, just because a lot of teams like Ole Miss, LSU, Arkansas, Mississippi State, they're all getting better, and Alabama and Florida, teams like that, they did take a bit of a step back. At least I think they will this upcoming year. And so I think it's going to be a lot more even, but Alabama is good enough to go 11-1, possibly 12-0. I don't really see them going 10-2. It's a possibility, but if I can't pick 11-1, I'd go with 12-0. Stay tuned to see more predictions from me and to see if I have Alabama going to the SEC championship game. Make sure to let me know in the comment section how you think Alabama is going to do this upcoming season. Make sure to leave a like if you enjoyed the video, leave a dislike if you didn't, and subscribe so you can see all of my college football playoff predictions. I want to thank you all so much for watching the video, and I'll see you all next time. Take care. Bye.